Hello, and thank you for joining me this hot Thursday evening. My name's Michaela. I'm with you for the next hour. Um, I will just tell you a little bit for who haven't seen me before, how I work. Sometimes I will go directly to a person. Sometimes I'll give a little bit of information up, and then we'll go from there. It all depends on how spirit wants to work with me on that evening or morning or wherever I am. And I'm just going to say a few hellos. Hello, Jamie M. Hello, Bernadette. Hello, Rosalind. And hello, Karen. I'm sure the people will be joining as we go along. I hope the weather's fine where you all are. It's been very, 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 very hot where I am today, and so we're all hot and sticky and whatever. So, hello, Bernadette. Right, so I'm going to start. Hello, Krish. Hello, Linda. Hello, Marion. I'm just going to, if you do join and I don't actually say hello, it's probably because I'm channeling in with spirit. So sometimes I just can't. Hello, Krish. See how where it's going. Hi, Bri or Bri. I think I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Um, right. I did actually see somebody that I was kind of drawn to, but I'm not quite sure. Right, Jamie M. I felt drawn to you when I seen you come on. Um, would you understand, Jamie M? Um, Like, this is always a sensitive thing. A young male in spirit who would have taken his own life. Would you understand that, Jamie M? Would you understand a young male in spirit that would have taken his life? Hello, Alison. Just waiting for an answer from you. Okay. Right, let me give a little bit more off, Jamie, and let's see how we go. Right, would you understand he was young? Right, okay. But would you understand when you say young that him being in some kind of university or something? Because I'm feeling or that he stayed on campus. That's what I'm getting. So if that this message isn't to you, please, everybody else listening and see, and then we can go off and see who I'm with. But because he's telling me that he was on campus, I'm not saying that's where he was when he passed. I'm just saying that he was on campus. He's showing me lots of books, lots of, and he's saying to me, people used to think I was a bit toffee nosed, but I wasn't really. And I know, right, he's coming through quite quickly, and he's saying to me that he did play the guitar a little bit. I'm not saying professionally, and he's saying also with that he would have been able, he sang a little bit too. He's saying I wasn't quite an Ed Sheeran, but I enjoyed to do that. Would you understand that if I said that to you, Jamie? So I know that this young man as well would have come from a really good upbringing. He tells me that his family was looked up. So I think financially they were quite well off family. His family. I only think there was one child. I think that was him, one son. Um, and he said that he had quite a strict upbringing, even though he was the only child. It was quite a strict upbringing, if you would understand that. If anybody else actually gets this young man that I'm with as well, please let me know, because he was young, right? So, and I don't think I can take this information. I'm not 100% sure though. I'd hate to miss a message. Okay, right, okay. So thank you, Jamie. Is there anybody else who could take what I'm saying? So I know this young man, he would have been in some kind of a college or university kind of surroundings, and he told me that he actually stayed there. So I know he would have stayed on in campus, and he tells me that he played the guitar a little bit and he sang a little bit. He really enjoyed that. That was more of a pastime for him. I'm not quite sure what he was learning, but I do think it was actually something to do with music, because I know that he was really into music, and he's showing me him playing the guitar and lots of books and lots of studying. But I know this young man would have taken his own life. If we can't find where this I sound like okay. Right, hi. Right, so it may be somebody who's joining, or if I can always put him to the side and go back to him in a little while. But I'm just going to say, describe this young man as well a little bit, because this young man as well, he wants me to mention about his hair. And it's okay, Jamie, if you can't take it, honestly, that's fine. He wants me to mention about his hair, because his hair was kind of flat here but curly all the way around, and I know he had lovely blonde hair, really lovely blonde hair. And I think his hair was his he loved his hair. Right, when don't seem to be like we don't seem to be getting anything with hello Eva. We don't seem to be getting anybody with this young man at the moment. So I will, if any, I'm just going to quickly go over it quickly again, just for the people that are joining. We have a young man who would have taken his own life. I know he was in some kind of university or a place of learning, and he would have stayed there, so he would have had a room like campus or something. I know that he loved to play the guitar, and I know he liked to sing a little bit. I think he was actually studying music, and I know he says to me he wasn't quite an Ed Sheeran, and I know that he came from quite a good upbringing, a really well, because he's saying people used to say he was a bit toffee nosed the way he spoke. So I know that his manner of speaking was very, very, very good as well. Right then, okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask this young man to step to the side a little bit, because I don't want to spend too much time with one person. And if anybody does actually know who this man is or young man, please just let me know and we can do him back out. I'm going to see where else I can go. Right. Would anybody understand the lady that's coming through now? Now, I know that this lady, she's telling me and she's showing me Spanish dancing. So I know that, and looking at her, she actually looks like she would have come from Spain or something, because she's got that lovely bronze glow to her skin. And she's saying that she done some kind of performing. I don't feel like it was a stage or anything like that, but a place where she would have performed and danced when in her younger days. Would anybody understand this lady? Now I know she would have come. I'm presuming, I'm hoping that she come from Spain. I know that this lady has got a little bit of a beautiful brown glow to her skin, and she she shows me that she would have Spanish dance, that she would have done Spanish dancing. Now, if that isn't if I'm saying it like that, right, then it could actually be. I'm going to run a pub and live. Right, okay, thank you, Bernadette Conley. Can I work with you, please? That kind of feels right. Right, would you understand, Bernadette, that that was the way that everybody would know her because she was such how can I, what's the word, give me the word, um she liked to perform for people, she liked to um make people smile. I'm not saying in a vain kind of way, she liked to perform. I see her in a way that she would have really enjoyed and loved to make people smile. Yes, she was popular. And I feel that this lady as well, because would you understand if I say that she comes in from dad's side, Bernadette? Would you understand that? Just waiting for the answers. So I know I've got the connection. Good evening, Cornelia. Yes, thank you. Okay, then, lovely. Thank you. Right. So I know that this lady, okay, sweet, she's saying to me she would put her hand to anything that she was given because her personality, she's making me feel so happy, bubbly, um, uh, I appreciate life, I appreciate people, I appreciate everything around me. Would that make sense to you, Bernadette? Because I'm feeling that this lady was appreciated everything around her, and she absolutely loved people. She's also saying she was a people pleaser. She was very clever, poor but clever, brilliant. Yes, thank you. And I feel that although you say she was poor, I feel that her 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 wealth was the way that people loved her and the way that she portrayed herself to people and come over. Actually, she's saying to me, why I say portrait, she'd also mention in a portrait, Bernadette. I'm not sure what the portrait is, but when I said portrait, she mentioned a portrait, if you get that. So I think there's a portrait of somebody because she's saying about the portrait as to what you have. Yes, okay. And sometimes it's hard to do that when you've had such a poor start, but she never ever looked at herself as poor. Yes, portrait, thank you. She didn't look at herself as poor. She's always saying to me, well, she's almost saying to me that um, it didn't matter about riches. The rich she had was of her with my dad at his wedding. Thank you very much. That so she must have right. She's at okay, right then. But when she's mentioning about this portrait that she had with your dad, she's kind of laughing. Was there something about that portrait that was a little bit because she's saying they didn't quite get the faces right? Would that make sense to you, Bernadette? Because she's laughing about. Okay. She's saying something about a pointed chin, if that makes sense to you. She's on about a point about somebody looked a bit pointed. Right, your mum wasn't in the picture, okay. But she's saying about something that she found funny about the picture. She's saying they didn't quite get her chin right, if that makes sense. Maybe you need to go and have a look at that and you'll get where grandma's coming from because yes, your dad's chin. Okay, thank you. Right, so she's laughing about that and she's really, really finding that funny. I think this is that is her just saying, yes, it is me kind of thing. Thank you. Um, right, okay. Right, would you understand, Bernadette, why she's bringing me in a box of chocolates? But in this box of chocolates, I haven't got um I've got a mixture of all different kinds of chocolate. Not, I know that in a box of chocolates you get different chocolates, but in this box of chocolates, there's a mixture. So I could have some dairy milk, I could have some galaxy. I've got a whole different kinds of chocolate. So, okay. So she's mentioning about that these chocolates all different flavors. Right, okay. So what she's actually saying to me, this was a bit like her. She's saying she was a bit of everything. She you know, some she said she wasn't always everybody's cup of tea, but they always find something eventually they liked about her. So that's the way she's coming across on that one. That's what she's telling me. Right, okay, sweet. So she's also saying, Bernadette, I'm not feeling that. Okay. I'm feeling like many roles and she was a strict Catholic. Right, thank you. Would you understand that I'm feeling with yourself, Bernadette, that I want to go and sigh and just say, I've had enough. Would you get that's what she's telling me, that you are sighing and saying, I've just had enough. I feel like that you've been giving your all and you don't seem to be getting much back. Would that make sense to you, Bernadette? Because that's what she's saying. She's saying you, she works so hard and she puts so much into what she does, but she doesn't always get the recognition. Would you understand that? Thank you very, very, very much for that, Bernadette. And she's saying to me, but I see the good in her and you see the good in everybody. And she said, this is what the problem is. You've always seen the good in everybody, even if these people haven't gave you any reason to do that. She's saying you always see the good in people, and she's saying, and that's getting noted from the spirit world. Everybody in the spirit world that come close to you. I believe that you are a little bit spiritual yourself, Bernadette. This is what now Grandma's making me feel. She's making me feel that you're on that. You're a little bit spiritual yourself, and that you've got the ability to work with spirit if you're not already. I'm a psychic book development. Thank you. Right, okay. Because I know she's saying, even in that work at the moment, sometimes you actually don't give yourself quite enough credit for how well you're doing. And she wants me to say to you that you're doing amazing. You, you're doing perfect. Don't be knocking yourself back for everybody else and what their faults. You are just fine the way you are and carry on that journey, because I really do feel that Grandma's saying to you that you will go far in it. I really do feel you will. And I think you need to just concentrate on yourself a little bit, healing yourself, and I think your spiritual work will come through in tenfold. I think if you spend that little bit of time on healing yourself, maybe through meditation, through reading some nice books. Veronica's got a lovely book that you could on Amazon if you wanted to read, and I think you'll find that peace that you're kind of craving for, and I think your work will come on in leaps and bounds. And with that, Bernadette, thank you very, 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 very much for working with me. Beautiful lady, absolutely beautiful, and I'll leave the love of spirit with you. Thank you. Let's see one going. Okay, right. So I've got I know I've got Dad with me now. I've got a dad with me. When he comes through and he shows me, he's quite tall and he's quite slender. Um, very, very reserved. Kind of like comes forward and then goes back. Um, very, very patient and waiting his turn. Um, right, okay. Now, okay, he's drawing me to his stomach area, so I feel that there was a stomach complaint. If it wasn't a cancerous condition, it's something to do with his stomach that he would have passed over. Okay, thank you, lovely. And he's saying to me, I was a bit of a jack of all trades. So I'm saying what, and he's saying he had his finger in every pie because he's saying he liked to do a bit of everything and he's a handyman. That's how he's coming across for me because he's showing me him doing everything. 1 minute he's doing this, 1 minute he's doing the other, and he's saying I was a good asset to have around the house. So if anybody actually recognises this gentleman, I know he would be Dad. Hello, Donna Marie. I know this would have been Dad, and if it's not Dad, it would have been Granddad, and I know who he's trying to connect to. There would have been a okay, right, Cornelia. Okay, let's. So Cornelia, I'm not quite sure yet. So, okay. So your husband, you're saying that he passed. Would your, I'm not sure. Would your husband be a dad? Would you have children? And take dad cancer, but not stomach. Okay, Christine, just wait there. So, Christine, also take the cancer, but also take from me that there was a stomach complaint, so he would have suffered with his stomach. Yes, 2 children, thank you. Right, could also be a split link. So, yes, 2 children, right? Okay, take that. Right, so let's see where we go with this, and then sometimes it'll go off in what direction it's got to go. Okay. Right, okay. Now I know he's telling me there was a son and a daughter. Cornelia, can you take that? There was a son and a daughter. Okay, lots of stomach problems, Cornelia. Right, Christine, can you take any of this as well? Son and daughter. Thank you, thank you. Right, because that's what I feel. Okay. Would you understand, Cornelia, if I said to you about I don't even know the name of the song, but it just keeps on saying super God rider. So I can hear the tune, but I can't think of the song. Paperback writer. Paperback writer. Would you understand that? That's the song that's playing around him. Paperback writer. Would you understand why he's giving me that? Comments take a little bit of time to come through. Would you understand why he's giving me? I have heard the song in the past, but I can hear the music playing. Don't know that song. Okay, right. Think I don't know that song. Right, okay. Hold on to that song. Just because maybe I can hear. Right, so if I put it in a different way, did he like to write? Did he like to jot things down? Did he like to make note of things? Would you understand if I put it that way? Okay. Right, okay. Because okay, right, right, okay, thank you, sweet. So what he's doing now is giving me a little bit more on that. He's saying paperback writer, yes. So it was been a Beatles song. So would your husband like the Beatles? If we put it that way, shall we put it that way and let's see where we go that way? Thank you. So would you understand, Christine, that the there's a book with love them, thank you. Would you understand there's a book and on the back of one of the pages, paperback on the page, there's something that he would have wrote. Would you understand that if I say that to you and you, Cornelia, too? I feel that there's something wrote that he would have wrote, and he's saying he's showing me the book. Open it, so I know it would have been on the front or the back page of the book. Okay, I think it's Cornelia. You don't think so, right? So Cornelia, yes, look, let's write things down. Christine, Christine, would you understand that? Would you understand there being something either on the front or the back of a book that he would have jotted? It could have been a name, it could have been, I don't know, but a vague recollection of it. Thank you, because I think he's giving me just giving me some information and giving me just so I can find out where this lovely young lovely man actually belongs. Um, okay, Space. Would you understand that somebody is just recently tiling, putting tiles up, the ceramic tiles or something like that, putting tiles up because he's saying he's watching and they're not quite straight? Would you understand that, either of you? And he's saying you should have got a spirit level. That's what he's saying. You should have got a spirit level. Comments says, hello, everybody joining. Thank you, Joey Bard. Right, so this is even going off even more now. Right, so if this happened, maybe my sonny altered his kitchen, we're not sure. Okay, thank you. Right, so sometimes when we get a message like this and it splits off and everybody, please, everybody, take what you can of it, because sometimes there's a little bit of a message in the message for everybody, you know, so please take what you can. But Cornelia made my sonny out of his kitchen, right? I think you need, maybe your son's not going to admit that he hasn't put something quite straight, but dad's saying that something's not quite straight, and he's saying it should have been, a spirit level should have been used, and he's laughing about that, right? Okay, thank you. Right, right. Would you understand why he's mentioning about a cat as well? And he's laughing about the cat and saying about the cat jumping. Would you understand that? Because he's saying about making the cat jump. Would you understand? Because I think what he's trying to do is just bring evidence through that he's and so you just know. So no, because I'm asking Spirit to try and draw me up and where I've got to go. But that don't always happen. Sometimes they actually make us really work. I don't like that. Okay. Well, I think your daughter's cat is not just freaked by other cats. Right, Christine, you can take the cat jumping. Okay. Right, because he's making me feel like he makes the cat jump. And he's saying to get your attention, if that makes sense. So, take what you can of that, ladies. I'm not sure which one it might be for both of you. But I think he's just, and he's laughing. Right, I know he wasn't one. He's saying I did laugh. I didn't really laugh out loud. I would be, and because he's saying he was quite a quiet man. Would you understand if I said that to you? He's saying I didn't draw attention to myself in that kind of way, and that's what he's making me feel. I know that he would have been a great partner, a great friend, um, a great companion, and a great listener. And I know that he would have been an amazing dad too. And I do feel that his children was will taken back when we lose somebody. But I feel that the daughter, his daughter would have taken it quite hard. And I'm not saying the son didn't, but she took it quite badly. And that's what he's making me feel. And he's saying that she didn't. She wanted to stay strong for you, but sometimes she just couldn't find the strength to do that. She just found it just too much. And it was also almost like that it just swamped her all of a sudden. She, and it was almost, I want to say, I've been strong for long enough and I can't be anymore. That's how I feel. That's how Dad's making me feel. I can't be strong anymore. I'm sorry, but I just can't do it. And that's how he's making me feel that his daughter would have been. Um, would you understand? Okay. Well, would you understand either with yourself or with your husband dry lips? Because I'm feeling like my lips are really dry. Would you understand that too? Because I'm feeling that I've got cracked, dry lips. And I'm going to carry on with the message because I don't want to hold back any more time than I have. Right. And he's singing to me, he's saying to me, again, he's not singing because he's quite shy. He is telling me, my lips and his, thank you, okay. And I'm hearing, I don't know whether you've heard the song Neil Diamond. No, it isn't Neil Diamond. I think Neil Diamond sings it too. It's, Barbara Streisand, you don't bring me flowers, you don't bring me flowers, you don't sing me love song. And he's playing that, and so whether he didn't, because I feel like he's saying that he didn't shower you in flowers like he would have wanted to, and with that he's coming in with this massive big bouquet of flowers and he's landing them on my lap and he's saying, will you give them to her? And so I feel that he feels like there was so much more that he wanted to give you and he should have give you, and he's saying he's sorry for that, but the love was always there and it was always as strong as from the beginning to the end. And he's bringing this big bouquet of flowers in and he's plonking them on my lap and he's saying, can you give them to you? And that's what he wants me to do. And with that, thank you very, very, very much for working with me. And I'll leave your the love spirit with you. Whilst that, I can see my husband loves Neil Diamond. I don't know why. Okay, I'm going to move it on. Rosa, would you understand your husband's father being in spirit? Would you understand that? Rosa, would you understand your husband's father? Yes, okay, thank you. Right then. So, would you understand that we've just got this Neil Diamond and this was, we could have been for the, but I'm still hearing it playing, you see. So, would you understand that your father-in-law had quite a nice singing voice? Would you understand that? Because I'm not just hearing the music now, I'm hearing the singing. Would you understand that he had quite a nice singing voice? Ladies, I'm going to have to put my air conditioning on. If it interferes too much, please let me know and I will turn it back off. But I'm absolutely baking in here. Would you understand? Yes, right, I can. Because this gentleman's coming through. Would you also understand that this gentleman had problems with his breathing? Would you understand that? Because I'm feeling like I'm having to take a big breath to get what I want what I want to say. I want to say, and but before I want to talk, but I need to take a big breath before I do. So, would you understand if I said that to you? Chilly New Zealand, or boiling here, absolutely boiling. Because yes, okay, thank you. Right, right, yeah. Um, would you understand that there's a baby not long been born? Because I feel like I want to cradle a child in my arms. Would you understand that, Rosa? Yes, he had a heart attack. Okay, thank you. Would you understand me wanting to cradle a child? So, thank you. But because I feel that was there a few, I'm not, a few issues with the grandson at first. Would you understand that there was there was a few issues at birth? Would you understand that? Because he's making me feel like, oh, he was there and he cradled him and he made sure that he was okay. That's how what he's telling me. I don't think it was serious issues, but I feel that it was still a concern. That's okay, Rosa. That's fine. So I'm feeling that when the grandson was born, I'm feeling like there was a few issues. My son, thank you, thank you, thank you for that. Right, okay. So so what he's saying to me is he's cradled him. So I feel that your son, Grandad came for him and he cradled him in his arms and he protected him and he took him and looked after him. And that's what I think he wanted to say. I think you've been thinking, I know that it's natural, but I think just recently you've been thinking so much about your son past, and I feel that you've you've been thinking about your son from when he was a child, a baby, if that makes sense. I don't know what age your son passed, but I'm feeling like a baby. Um, not that he passed as a baby. I'm feeling that you've been thinking about when he was born. Let me say it like that. I know there's a lot of okay, thank you. There we go then, that's what it is. Because he's saying I cried with them in my arms and I took them with me and I've looked after them and I will continue to do so. And that's what he wanted me to say to you. And is that right, Rosa, that you've been just lately really thinking about this child? Um, it's almost like something, I know that the child's always in your memory, but something sparked everything back up for you, and it's like you're living it all over again, if that makes sense. And that's how he's making me feel. He's making me feel that you feel like you're reliving it all over again. So whether a situation that you've heard about is very much the same or something, but I feel like that you feel like you've almost been reliving that situation again. And I think what he wanted to do was to come through and say to you, you know, that he knows and he's supporting you and he's there and he's with you. And I know that he thought a lot of you, um, and he thought a lot. his son, and he said my heart broke for them. But there's just nothing I could have done. There was nothing anybody could have done. And with that, he's also telling me that he wants to bring lots of healing your way, Rosa. That he wants me to give you lots of healing and say that he's around you, supporting you and your husband. And, you know, just chat to him because he hears you. With that, I'm going to leave his stuff for you. Thank you very, very, very much for working with me. Absolutely lovely man. I think we've just got the right time for another one. See where we're going. Right, okay. So I've got a lady coming in now. I know this lady had a stroke condition. I feel like uh, the right side of me, the right side of me, I had, you know, especially my arm. I feel like I need to lift my arm with my other hand. I feel that this side was very, very weak, and I feel that everything was laboured. I was, it was like, you're welcome, sweet. It was like one thing after another. I had a stroke, and then there was just bang, 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 bang. It was like I couldn't catch my breath. I could not get a break from this. Everything that happened, I was just getting illness after illness. If that makes sense to you. Anybody? I don't remember that. Okay, I'm going to go on a little bit more. So, right. Would you also understand if I said that Mom had um, a COPD or something kind of condition as well? Would you understand that? Because I'm feeling like I need to make big, big pups or asthma or something like that because I'm feeling like I need to make pups. Would that make sense to you? Anybody? Andrea, would that make sense to you? This lady, and I know I'm saying she had a stroke on the right, so I'll get to this. Okay, right then, thank you. Right, okay. That can sometimes actually happen. It doesn't actually, we don't always just connect to spirit. Sometimes we can connect to the spirit of a person that um, they're no longer the person they used to be. I know I've done that a lot of times before. They're actually still been on the earth plane, but I've also, um, it's like the life that they had. She's 93, thank you. So would you understand, Lynn, if I said to you that Mom has had one thing after another, and it's like she can't get a break. She can't just seem to go on the smooth. It's up and down, up and down, up and down all the time. That's how I feel. And I feel like, you know, yes, thank you, Lynn, I think I'm with you. Um, I feel that with Mum, so I feel that with Mum, that I'm getting almost like I've had enough, Lynn. I've had enough. I've had enough of everything. And I feel that almost sometimes yourself feels like, although you don't want to see Mum gone, you don't want to see Mum suffering anymore, if that makes sense to you. I feel that you don't want her, she's just a fraction of the person that she used to be, if that makes sense to you. And it's although it's mum there, it's like it's a shell of mum, and it's hard to accept mum the way she is. And that's how I feel. I'm feeling that I can't accept how it's got to this, and I crave for the person that I once knew and used to know. Because would you understand that mum's feeling? I was carrying home now. Okay. Would you also understand that mum's getting a little bit confused? I know she's 93, and you know what an amazing age. But would you understand also that mum's getting a little bit confused too? Because I'm feeling that I can't think straight at the moment, if that makes sense to you, Lynn. Yeah, a bit confused. So would you understand if I said to you, Lynn, that mum seems that she has got worse since she's been in the care? Would you understand that? And do you actually feel that a little bit, feeling a bit guilty about that? That you feel that somehow it's your fault? Would you understand if I said that to you? I feel that there's a lot of emotion around mum. Um, there's a lot of sadness around mum. It's almost like you don't want to leave her because of the sadness that you feel that she has. You know, and it's almost like you can see in her eyes when you're just about to go, and it's like it's really, really cutting deep on you, cutting so deeply that there's almost a feel of guilt, and you're blaming yourself, and holding yourself responsible in some kind of way. But I know, well, I don't know whether this is mum's sister coming in now, or auntie or something, because this lady's coming in and she's saying to me, no one could have done more than what you have done. There's nobody would have sacrificed what you have sacrificed. So I feel that you've sacrificed an awful lot to take care of mum. And she's saying you've got your own life too, and you can't just give up on life, because I feel like you almost have. I feel like you're going from A to B, and B being where mummy is, and A being at home, and then B, and there's not a lot of in between. I feel like you're not experiencing living anymore, Lynn. I feel like you're not living, and you're not doing the things that you could have done and you should be doing. So this lady's saying, because this lady's also saying that she can't fault anything that you have done. You can't be responsible for life. And I know people say to you, this lady say to you, that people look at you and they say, oh well, she's a good old age, but and you look at them and you think, that's no consolation, it's still my mum. Whether she's 93 or 103 or 203, it doesn't matter, she's still your mum. You are not ready to say goodbye to mum, and it doesn't make you feel any better, and you almost feel that people think Well, she's had a good innings, so I don't know what you're worried about. And of course you are worried because it's your mum. You've got every right to care, and it doesn't matter about her. Your mum to me means, and this lady's saying to me that you've had her a lot longer in your life, so it's a lot harder in a lot of aspects and ways to be able to say goodbye, because mum's been here a lot longer than some people have, and it's not no consolation. And she's saying that please don't listen to these people. These people haven't got anything better to say. These people haven't got anything better to do. And you just worry about what you're doing, Lynn. And I feel that that's what you really need to do. You need to concentrate on you a little bit more. I'm not saying just forget about mum. What I'm saying is take that odd day, that odd day, just to maybe go to a spa, book a spa day, do something for Lynn, because I feel like Lynn hasn't been Lynn, and you're losing your identity too, sweet. And this lady doesn't want you to do that. She wants you to remember who you are. And with that, I'm going to leave this lady's love, and I promise you, I hope and pray that mum's okay, and I hope mum's here for a lot longer for you, Lynn. I hope she's a lot here for a lot longer. And thank you everybody who's joined me this evening. I'm sorry if you never got a message. I'll try and do as many as I can. And I am here again next Thursday at 10:30 with the lovely Tony Coffins, and we do a double, and that's 10:30 a.m. in UK time. And then I'll be here the following Thursday again at this time. And thank you very, very, very much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful evening and a wonderful weekend. Much love to all of you.